Hey, what's going on, y'all? Thank you for joining us. We are the boys of Outspoken. We are back with some hot topics. We took a little break, but we couldn't be quiet for too long because there's so much tea going on, and you know we're ready to spill. So get into it, get your little drink and snack because you're about to get the tea.
How are you guys feeling today? How's everyone?
I'm feeling good. I'm not working. I'm great.
A day off is always a good day.
I got my coffee and I'm with my girls, ready to spill some tea because you know I got opinions, so I'm good.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know if I told you, but I'm pretty good.
Good. Good. So you're good, you're saying?
Let's do it.
So, did y'all hear about Wendy Williams the other day?
About her cheating man?
No. Yes! Well,
I'm kidding.
with her, it's hard to keep up because she's always like talking about people.
Been like the hot topics.
Right.
Yes!
She's been the subject. She does not like that either, as we all know. She's not a fan, but...
Did y'all see that she like came forward on her show and like talked about her addiction?
Right.
Now she's been living in a home and everything.
Yes.
I was like, wow. I know that's very, I'm not making fun of her, that's very hard and difficult. But I'm very proud of her like for doing that and being honest on her show. Because it has to be really hard.
Right.
And embarrassing, but...
Well, I mean, it's been kind of a weird few months for Wendy. Like, you know, she kind of had some weird appearances on her own show at the end of her last season, and she was kind of slurring her words, and then she hurt her arm, and you know, there was
a lot of mystery going on with her. You don't really know
because she doesn't. Wendy's not a very forthcoming person when it's her own sort of business. You know, like she feels free to talk about anybody and anything, but she has trouble, you know, owning her own truth sometimes.
Tell me how Wendy's doing.
Right.
Oh, right.
Yes, right.
How you doing? How you doing?
Well, not good, obviously, because, you know, after months and months of speculation, when her show premiered, everybody was like, okay, now we're going to find out what happened. Right. And she didn't come back. Instead, she had a lot of celebrity guest stars and panels for the first almost like a month of her show before she finally came back, like 2 weeks ago.
What the fuck? Where's Wendy?
Right.
But even you know what? It's love-hate me and her.
Right.
I
I think that's anybody. It's a hate watch
It's kind of funny what she says, but she can be mean. And let's see what she's going through. But
my biggest problem with Wendy Williams overall is that she's just a hypocrite. And I hate being a hypocrite. Like, you can be a bitch and you can talk shit and be a comedian and, you know, that can be your job. But then you have to be able to take a joke and take a punch and be real with your own truth. Otherwise, you just look like a bully and a bitch. Like, I mean, that's just how it can come across.
I feel you, girl, but, you know, she a paid hypocrite. And, you know, these hot topics, that's her money bag.
Yeah.
And so I do have to say, like, but there's a sense of, like, if I'm watching you, I get you don't want to spill your tea. But you gotta give me a little something. You know, while we're talking about Wendy and her coming out as far as like her addiction, you know, this isn't nothing new. She talked about it before, but I didn't know it was something she was still struggling with. I mean, you can make your assumptions, but it doesn't take until someone tells you to really like, oh damn, like I'm sorry you're going through that.
Right.
But there's this side of that I don't like about it, and it was because just the day before she even came out with this story, she was talking about Mama June, and you know about the, you know how she got caught up with like drugs and stuff, and she was almost joking about it. And it's not the first time she's joked about someone being on drugs, and I know she's been there before, she's lived that life, but I still get uncomfortable when you're talking down on someone who's, you know, just really down, already down. You're just gonna kick them and make fun of them. That just does something for me that's like, I'm a little turned off by it.
I mean, the whole irony of the situation.
Kind of made a career out of kicking someone when they're down, and she does the thing, and she has a really great career. She's been in the game for a long time, but
fun with addiction. That's
especially when you have struggled with it yourself, right? Of course,
right? No, for sure.
She comes across as very, very judgmental, but then when the finger's pointed at her, it's very defensive and deflective, and you know, it's hard to root for someone actively when that is the case, but
I will have to say I'm grateful that she did come out with this. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, she didn't have to.
No,
this doesn't have to even be part of her storyline. It could just still be this mistress thing. And I'm not gonna lie, maybe that's the authentic side of her I was actually looking for. Because there was still this side of like, Wendy, you're giving so much tea, but there's a disconnect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't know what you are and what your struggle is, or you know what I mean?
Well,
so
especially
now,
lately, it's been really hard. The past 4, 5, 6 months with her.
I don't want to see a bitch all the time.
Right.
You know what I mean? I gotta know that you've been through shit too, and I think she's lost that because I don't know. There's something almost uppity about her a lot of the times. That she feels like she's better than people.
Well, when she came back to the show to sort of address the rumors, she did her first episode back. I think she just touched on it really quick and was just like, "I still have my ring on, mind your business."
Right.
She did. I remember that. But there's some breaking tea today while we're talking about the ring. Did y'all see the picture of like her man and his side chick
getting out of the car and stuff?
No, like on vacation.
Oh no!
It just came out today.
No, well,
like she's in bikini and he's just like his. I mean, look, divorce is expensive.
I guess so, but
I'm sorry. I think that's actually where she's coming from.
Well, then, if that's the case, I feel like the audience would respect her more and love her more, and to see that human side of her. You know, you don't have to spill all of your business, but the world sees you with your broken arm. They see you fainting. They see you slurring your words. They see the same gossip columns that report on the same things as you. They're reading them, and they're seeing that little blurb about your man knocking up the neighbor woman or whatever. Like, you know, so it's out there, and so it's just a weird black cloud to never address it. And the fact that now that she did make this revelation on her show and kind of spill her truth a little bit, she still left it a little bit vague. I mean, she didn't quite say if she's dealing with addiction. She said she's living in a house, so clearly that's what it indicates, but she didn't exactly go into detail about what it is. And it's hard for me to root for her 100% when I don't know the situation. I don't know what is going on.
The Big Brother house.
Okay.
I would like to see her in that. Actually, I would like to see Wendy in the Big Brother house.
No.
Oh god, she would never.
Well, hey, look. Addiction is tough. I wouldn't wish on anybody. I've seen friends and family torn apart by an addiction.
For sure.
So just the fact that she's getting help and just has this platform is letting people know, like, look, this bitch giving you hot topics all week. Girl.
You know when her eyes get a little bit bigger in the tear? She needs a tissue.
Yeah, I'm like, girl, you got that runny nose?
What's happening? What's going on here? Wendy doing the most. I'm like, okay, it's a serious thing, and addiction is a serious thing, and you know, however we feel about her, it is serious, and you know, I do wish her the best recovery that she can have. I hope she pulls through this okay. I mean, she's been through worse, I think, so I think she'll be fine, but. Still, give a little more to us. I think the fans want to know. The fans want to see. They want to root for you, and they want to be supportive of you. So.
And if you are going through an addiction, and you know you need to talk to somebody, just reach out.
First step, admitting it, seeking help, even if it's just from a friend or loved one. So,
and then get the help. Why not? Like, there's plenty of programs out there, no matter what scale you're on.
I mean, you know. We don't really have medical insurance. A lot of people in this country, so it's very hard. But there will be something. Yeah.
I think Wendy has something. She has a foundation.
Yeah, that is great. The Hunter Foundation. We should say the Hunter Foundation is an organization that Wendy and her husband started.
1-800. How you doing?
No.
It
does help people with addiction, and it's a great organization. So.
I'm sorry.
Someone's gonna pull this.
The way of how I've kind of dealt with, like, you know, my family, my immediate family, my parents were on drugs growing up. It was a struggle, and it was hard to watch, and it did affect me and my siblings. And I felt like, you know, like it just needs to be a bigger conversation. There's a lot of people who are going through the same things as Wendy, but no one really wants to talk about it.
Well, speaking of other things coming to light and causing a little bit of a stir, a couple of weeks ago, HBO released a controversial documentary, Leaving Neverland, about the abuse suffered at the hands of Michael Jackson to two young victims. Wade Robinson and James Safechuck give just disturbing testimony of what they allege they experienced as they were kids, having close personal relationships with Michael Jackson. Obviously, you know, Michael Jackson is the biggest star in the world, universally, I think. He is one of the biggest icons of all time, and a lot of people are not happy about this documentary coming out, and, you know, they're saying, why are you bringing this up now after he's dead, and everything like that. First of all, did you guys get to watch the documentary? I know you saw a little bit of it. You saw some of it.
Yeah, I did, but I'm not understanding why people are so upset about this documentary coming out. Like, let these victims tell their story. And I get, like, maybe people don't believe them, but at the same token, this isn't, and this is my take, this isn't the first time this allegation was put on him. And then now you're getting the inside scoop where people are like, hey, look, I fucked up. I didn't tell the truth at the time. Now here I am giving you my truth. I'm just not understanding how someone, because I've seen comments online, like people like bashing these two individuals for coming out and saying this because they trying to ruin their favorite pop star. I don't understand it.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. I did watch the documentary. Me personally, I obviously think that Michael Jackson was a pedophile. I think he's guilty. There's no question in my mind. I've believed this for 20 years. That's just my opinion. But like you said, this is not new information. Like this has been a running. You know, he's gone to trial before in the past.
I remember like just living with my aunt, who was a huge Michael Jackson.
He grew up in this. I think
was ecstatic when it came back that
he was cleared. Right.
So there's that ingrained in me that even still, I'm just like, I don't know. That's still pretty big accusations, and it made sense just because how he was living. And then now you get this backstory, they still have a story to tell.
Of course, yeah. I mean, a lot of the criticism comes from the fact that Wade Robson has lied in the past under oath and said that he didn't abuse him. Well, you know, a lot of people don't understand the intricacies of being abused as a child and what that does to your psyche and growing up with that. And if you didn't even watch the documentary, all these people online coming, you cannot have an opinion about it.
I haven't seen it. So
Well, I mean, you can have an opinion about this situation, but the people that are coming forth and calling them liars without seeing it, it's completely unfair to have that criticism because you know,
like the same thing with R.Kelly. Without watching that documentary, getting those deeds of like this is what went down, you can't be like he didn't do that. No, you have to listen to these several people's stories, and I don't understand that kind of fandom because there's no one that I would just stand behind.
There is nobody in my life. Yeah, I love you. I love you. I love my family. But if I had seen some of the things and read and that have been said about Michael Jackson, I would not be able to stand by someone I know personally, let alone a celebrity that I've never met, will never meet.
No matter what.
Right. It's tricky. I think a lot of the crazy fans and the backlash come from maybe younger people that aren't familiar that this has been going on for 30 years. That this isn't the first documentary about
No, it's older people.
It is. Yeah. There's celebrities that are like Our friend Wendy Williams is a hardcore defender of Michael Jackson, saying that she doesn't believe them either, which I think was a little irresponsible of her to say it on her show the way she said it.
Said something so
she says a lot of, I know.
Yeah, I think even R.Kelly, she was like, I don't think he deserves prison. I think he deserves rehab or try to get better. I'm like, no,
girl.
But the fact is, he's been doing this several years. And
decades now. It's
you can't say that that's the answer. No, this guy deserves prison because that's justice for these women who decided to come forth and be like, hey.
Right.
And I feel the same way with this Michael Jackson story. The only thing is, like, he's dead now.
Right.
So there's nothing that can be done there.
Yeah.
But I think your bigger question was, can you still support his music,
the art from the artist, right? I think that's where a lot of the backlash comes from too, is because on a very shallow level they like his music and they love celebrating him as an icon and the nostalgia of Michael Jackson, and he's the king of pop and he's worked with everybody and he's such an icon around the world that it's hard to want to even pretend to see him like that or even like put yourself in that position. Can you separate the art from the artist? And this goes for in this more woke society that we're in now, and the Me Too movements and all of these things.
But it's not just like it's Michael Jackson, so his music is like it's crazy, but still I can't understand why people choose just because it's just Michael Jackson music. So I can't separate the two. I get uncomfortable even when it came out at work. I turned it off.
Oh, okay. Wow.
But then someone was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Wait, was I
don't know. What am I? Right?
Is that not even my call to make? Like, you know what I mean? For everyone else that was in the restaurant, I don't know. I know that I will feel a certain way hearing it and be like,
Yeah. When something comes out about somebody, when you find out who they really are, when you find out these horrible allegations about them, it's hard to say that should erase an entire career from someone, everything that they put out into the world. And, for whatever Michael Jackson was, there were good things that he did in the world. There were children's charities and there were good thing. So, you know, there's so many levels to these things that it's hard. For me personally, I think if you don't actively support someone going forward, like if you're not gonna buy a new R. Kelly album, I don't think he's gonna get to put one out anytime soon, but if you're not doing it going forward now, knowing what you know, I think that's fair. To say you have to go and delete your entire catalog of music and never listen to it again and you should be punished for it, I don't know if that's the case. I think that's more of a personal decision. Yeah, of course.
And when it comes to like, it's easier with R. Kelly just to be like, because you actually hear it in his music.
Right.
You actually like
he's literally admitting to what he's doing in the song.
He's literally describing you what he's been doing this whole time.
Right.
So I get this idea of like, that's for sure, like I can cancel it, but this whole like rock with you or Thriller, like how can I let this go? I understand it, but are you purchasing? You know what I mean? Like, are you still giving money to the
Well, it's interesting. His music skyrocketed in sales after the documentary came out, which goes to show, you know, the stan celebrity culture and the power of celebrity.
Same thing happened with the R. Kelly thing.
Yeah, I think a lot of
people honestly wanted to maybe see if they can hear it in his music, like they did with R. Kelly.
Right.
But unfortunately, I feel like a lot of people actually were just supporting.
Yeah. It's hard. What do you think? You haven't said exactly. Do you think you can and should we separate the art from the artist?
I think that you can, and it depends case by case, but also keep in mind with a lot of these music artists and their music videos and their songs, they don't do that by themselves. That's a team of people who make them do that. So that's why I think it's okay to still be a fan, because they didn't do that on their own. Like all those music videos and all those dance moves, people helped him do that, so you're also a fan of those other people too, of their work.
Very true. Okay, that's a good point of looking at it too.
That's just
or like, and that's good to like actors. There's a lot of actors and directors who have, you know,
they didn't write
the Woody Allens and the Bryan Singers and stuff. There's still thousands of people involved in creating those films that for them it was, you know, a work of art or, you know, their passion or whatever. And so again, it's different levels. Like it's really hard for me. Like one of my favorite movies used to be American Beauty. Like I love the movie American Beauty.
I saw the movie the other day for the first time. I didn't like it.
But the idea of I loved it. Yeah, I loved it.
Back then,
especially back then. But the idea of watching a movie where, you know, Kevin Spacey isn't looking for underage
that
girl.
Was weird. And I was like, what the fuck?
Okay, well that came out 20 years ago, and it was not
people
And in retrospect now, especially with what we know about Kevin Spacey, it's like, that's something I don't know if I can ever. I'll never be able to look at that movie the same way.
I literally watched it for the first time this weekend.
Right.
And I was like, what's going on? Is this? I've always heard people say it's a great movie.
It's different,
and I'm like,
you know,
some weird shit.
I mean, but celebrities being creepers and abusive and pedophiles and all. This is nothing new. Elvis had a 14-year-old wife, right? Like there are John Wayne was a known racist. Like. These are things that, there's all icons, and if you really dig enough, you'll find out that, you know, they're all still humans at the end of the day, and they're imperfect, and some imperfections are acceptable, but, you know, it goes back to being a personal decision. I think you just have to decide within yourself what you feel comfortable celebrating.
And what the is, you know, like, it's like, something like, was like, I don't know.
Like they said it maybe an offensive joke once, right?
Yeah, like
we're talking about that.
I was about to say it depends like what you do, because I get this idea of cancel culture, like cancel.
We're so
quick. With stuff with R. Kelly and MJ, you're like, I feel like it's easy to be like, oh, okay, I can be done with that. But with things like, you know, like City Girls or Just Hilarious, this comedian.
This is new,
yeah, like she recently got into some things. One was a homophobic slur. Someone was in her comments, and regardless, you're going to get trolls once you're that caliber, but she responded to him calling him a faggot. And then she tried to explain herself, saying, like, she's going to say whatever she's in, when she's in that moment, she's going to, like, say something that hurts you. It's never okay, and I hate that, because I do like Dress with the Mess. You know what I mean? I do, like, I felt like I supported her. Can you let that go? Do you feel like, and she explained that she loves the gays. She has all these gay friends, you know, because she eventually apologized. They always do. But is that something...
Well, Kevin Hart didn't really, but mostly they always do.
True.
But they don't always.
Can you see yourself supporting someone who came from that ignorant POV?
My thing about when people do those kind of things, I already didn't like her to begin with. So usually when people say these offensive things, anyone I've ever done that to,
you already kind of
was like kind of weird about them. But nothing's ever come out about anyone that I was like, I'm not a fan at all.
There's like City Girls.
I was a fan, and I still am a fan. I was a fan before they said, I don't want when Young Miami was like, if my son was gay, I'd beat his ass. I was a fan before she said that.
Yeah.
And that didn't stop you from being a fan.
No, because that's another thing. In the black community, even though what she said was wrong.
Okay.
There's like a phrase, and that's one of the phrases, if you XYZ, I'll beat your ass. They're not really going to do it.
But even that's a culture we should change and not accept.
Yeah, right. Thank you. It's a culture thing that we should change but not accept. But I know how she meant it, even though it was still offensive and wrong. I'm just going to be like, I'm going to let that go.
But you could, but if somebody did cancel her for that for themselves, you could understand why. Maybe they...
Yes, I could, yeah.
Maybe even like it's Elliot Banks, the list can go on and on. Another thing just got and this was just like a few days ago, was going on a plane and she was taking a video of this guy that was ahead of her and he was like dressed in like a turban, like had this whole attire on, and she felt like it was okay to record him and just act like she was scared to get on the plane.
Right.
Very ignorant, very just like, girl, what are you doing? That's not the tea. And continue to keep going with it when people are like, hey, that's not right, defending herself, saying that they got evacuated and that insinuating that those guys were probably the reason behind it.
Right.
And then continued by saying, fuck y'all because I could be scared, you know, don't put me in a box. And then gets on the plane and then continues like, they're not on the plane, so what now?
They
Still defending that ignorance that she thought it was okay.
It was coming across as very MAGA, very...
discriminate against a specific race over your ignorant thoughts.
Right.
And
she kept doubling down. People are trying to educate
like, girl,
her.
you're not getting it. This is not okay. You do not just know what happened the day before or 2 days before with 50 people being murdered by an extremist.
And then
actually, the white person you're so comfortable to sit next with, that's who it actually
right.
That you need to be concerned about.
I don't always agree with her points, and sometimes she does come across ignorant. And this was another thing, like the homophobic thing. I was just like, girl, you're not seeing what you're doing, and it just spiraled. And eventually, obviously, she had to issue an apology. But that token, it's like,
oh, she finally apologized?
Yeah, 2 days later.
See, this is like the what we do now. It's like somebody does something offensive or something offensive is dug up about somebody. We're mad for a couple of days. They issue an apology. It goes away. You know, we're kind of in that phase. And I do think that everybody has the right to evolve and change and grow as a person. I don't think we can... Depending on the offense. Pedophilia is not the same as an off-color joke. So depending on someone's offense and what their crime is, what they've done...
This is obviously something we could forgive her for. She needed to get checked for it, and she did. And honestly, I think it's going to affect her. And I'm talking about following tickets.
Well, did you see, it's literally today, or yesterday night, I guess, Khloe Kardashian got in a little bit of hot water for posting something that offended a lot of people.
I don't know
the same thing. So she posted a picture of a t-shirt and it said, love your gay neighbor, love your white neighbor, love your black neighbor, you know, something along the lines of that. And then it also said, love your racist neighbor. So then people were saying like, okay, number one, you're comparing being gay or black or white to something that is actually a bad choice and a bad thing, and you're celebrating in this.
Yeah.
And, you know, of course, people are schooling her.
I get what she was trying to say, but no, you shouldn't have said that.
Well, especially since she is a white person. No matter what they look like, and no matter who is inside of them, the Kardashians are white people.
Yeah.
And for them to say "love your racist white person" is not a really
If that was the point you were trying to get across, you say "love everyone" or just you put love. Period.
So
you don't.
She had a couple of, you know, she had a couple of them. Did you see earlier in the week too? Some girl said, "Oh, I can't wait to buy your jeans. I love your jeans. I just have to work 20 shifts to buy a pair of your jeans. I can finally have some." And Khloe responded with, "Yay, I hope you like them." And so people were just kind of like, okay, this girl said like, I have to work 20 shifts of my life. And Khloe took the time to comment, but it was something that was so like flippant, like, it's almost like condescending, like, yeah, enjoy working your 20 shifts.
Well, maybe like she saw that the girl was being kind of like extreme, like 20 shifts.
Well, if her jeans are $200 and she gets however many.
How would you like it if you said it to a restaurant or some type of business?
I mean, that's not the most offensive thing in the world, but like,
I think she's trying to get smart ass back to her, and I don't think
you can't do that.
She said she's gotten read a couple times this week, Chloe.
I mean, I guess there's degrees to this whole canceling. You're gonna have to be the judge.
You have to decide
but
for
what
yourself.
about for your friends? Do you feel indifferent if your friends make different decisions than you do? Like,
ooh, that depends on what. Well, that's interesting because I feel like, at least for me personally, like as I've grown older in my life and my friendships have evolved and things like that, and they've gotten, you know, I have less friendships than I did say when I was 24, but I feel like they're closer. They're not just bar friends. They're not as shallow, you know.
Right.
And I think back then I was a lot more willing to put up with friends doing shitty things and forgiving them or stealing your boyfriend or, you know, like when you're young and dumb, you forgive things a lot more. Yeah. Then there comes a point in your life where you're like, okay, now you know better as a human, like to be fucking over friends and stuff. So, you know, now in my life, if I had a friend who slept with my boyfriend or something, you know, right. Yeah. Like once there's a certain point, I have definitely in the last few years pulled away from friendships because they do something morally that I don't believe in, and it's hard for me to be actively friends with someone who is, their whole existence is something to me that's immoral or wrong, and it's hard to talk about it without being phony, you know, so I can understand pulling back from a friend if you don't agree. What do you think?
I feel like, to an extent, it depends, like, obviously, like, once again, it's case-by-case scenario. If their view is different, I get this idea of having a different POV. But it comes down to, like you said, moral compass. Like, where do you stand? Right. How do you view the world? And if I see that maybe you actually have a different POV that I'm uncomfortable with, then I will pull myself away.
Right.
I will. And unless it's like I said, it's case by case.
Right.
If it's like on a smaller scale of like maybe you're a Trump supporter, I'm not gonna just push you out. I'm not gonna hang with you like that as much, or you're gonna step in my face. But you know, like, but if you're defending R.Kelly, it's hard for me to just catch brunch with you on Sunday.
Right.
Like I'm so like
it goes to the moral core of whatever it is.
Right.
You know, we can disagree on pizza toppings or a favorite housewife, but if you think it's okay kids are in cages, then we might have like a little more of an issue. You know, so
and also there's a saying: you are who your friends are.
Okay.
So
right.
If you're okay with something extreme like that, then that's a reflection on yourself.
Very true.
And if you're not okay with it, it's also a reflection too that shows that you're not down with that.
Right. And it goes back to too, you got to speak up for things. So if people are doing something racist or wrong, you know, we have a duty to call it out sometimes and to not just push it under the rug because we're their friend, because that's why we still have Trump's America right now and all the racism and things that we have going on, because too many people have not called it out or let it go by, you know, especially white people who just want to live in their bubble. But you know, you gotta say something if it really is something that you believe in your heart is a moral problem. You gotta call it out, you know.
I agree.
So speaking of more controversy, the internet, especially Twitter, was abuzz this week with a controversy over Fritos Lay's potato chips. Because, you know, when you get those boxes of potato chips and they have like 6 flavors in them, and it's like 2 of one and 3 of one and 4 of one of one. So some guys posted on like Twitter this week, like they ranked them in order, which was the best out of those 6 flavors. And then Chris Evans, Captain America, took it and ran with it, and it's just launched controversy all over the internet over what is the best flavors of these 6 chips.
Cheetos. Regardless, Fritos is last.
Yeah, totally.
Well, I need to see.
Let's. What would you guys put first out of those? Cheetos, number 1.
Yeah,
Cheetos.
number 1.
I think
Cheetos.
for sure. I don't think that's
Doritos,
a given.
Doritos is next.
Regular Doritos.
Regular.
Oh, I would put Cooler Ranch Doritos.
Yeah, Cooler Ranch Doritos.
That's the third for me.
Okay. Fritos is last, definitely for me.
No, not me.
No.
Barbecue Lays are last.
Oh, I love barbecue. That's probably gonna be after Doritos Cool Ranch for me.
Fritos last, and then probably regular Lays.
Regular Lays is second to last.
Then barbecue Lays, then Doritos, and Cheetos number 1. Okay.
Well, I'm eating them all regardless.
Right.
Those Fritos, I'm just saying, gonna eat them.
Right. Well, why don't you guys weigh in and let us know what you thought about the Dorito Snack Challenge. Tell us what your favorite Dorito is, and let us know what you thought of Wendy Williams coming forward to let the world know that she's battling with addiction again, and also let us know what you think. Can you separate the art from the artist, and, you know, at what cost? So let us know in the comments below, and thank you guys so much for watching this episode. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Hey y'all, it's the boys of Outspoken. We're back. I'm Brian, and
I'm sorry, I'm like salivating. But this is
so juicy of a story. It's a juicy story.
Girl, you give me that, I'm just like, ah. And addicting can mean grinder too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's the new age addiction. People are addicted to their phones, to the apps,
like,
to
varies of things.
Right.
You're
because
right.
Edwin mentioned earlier that.
What did I say? What are you talking about? Hi, we're Destiny's Child.
Bitch, I was watching this interview of theirs
Back in the day.
So funny. B was not having it, and
oh
like, it was a little weird. Like it was like a weird vibe.
Yeah,
I
know what you're talking about.
I know which one you're talking about. She was kind of rolling her eyes.
Yeah, it was so good. Though.
I love it.
It's like because you don't see that now. You know, she's very.
She didn't even do that now.
But I was just like, give me this authentic B. All right, we're live. Bill. Yeah, sounds good.
Yes.
Yeah. Back again.
Yeah.
Hey y'all, welcome back. We are back. That was
No,
that was good.
That was good.
Back again. I leave the pad.
Yeah, you know, love me some Nikki.